Hello everybody, I am Interact, this is Dead Cells, welcome back. We're still hunting for blueprints. We have 3 left. We have the flamethrower turret, the death orb, and the shovel. This is actually a fine start, I think. Yeah, what about that, nerd? You're so smart with your... Shut up, don't ever talk to me. Anyway, so we're still hunting for blueprints, so we're still going to be talking about random various things that I feel like talking about, I guess. Because otherwise it's just a video of me playing the game that I've been playing for 65 episodes prior to this that everyone's already seen. And we're going to be going the same place and probably using the same items because the Foundry update makes it kind of so you do that. I've said my piece on the Foundry update, I don't think it needs to be restated. I think a lot of people agree with me about it kind of being just kind of a slog, you know? If it was like the old upgrades, okay, just get down there, please, that they had in the previous updates where it's like, you know, increases, you know, gives you a random melee weapon or whatever, or gives you more HP. Maybe if it was like, increases all melee weapons instead of increases this specific melee weapon, I think that would be better. Obviously, it would be a lot less progress. You wouldn't have to put as much into it to actually get that done. But it would still be better. Because it wouldn't be as much like, oh, well, like right here, I'm gonna hunt for an ice bow because it's the best ranged weapon for me right now. I'll take a hunter's longbow because it's also a really good ranged weapon for me because I have it upgraded a bunch. You know? It'd be more like, well, what bow do I think I want to use in this situation? That one seems pretty good. It synergizes with this weapon that I have. It'd be less of, you know... Anyways, I've talked about that at length. I don't even know. It's a good joke. It's a good joke, guys. I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the sense of humor. But you're jerks. Don't ever talk to me again. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. Joke's on them, I don't have a lawyer. I mean, I have a lawyer. Yeah. This is my life, apparently. Pierces all enemies. Well, I wasted a lot of gold. That's cool. We don't have... Wait, have we already picked up both scrolls? I think we have. We kind of need the gold, though, so we're actually going to do some combat. Oh my goodness gracious, it actually pierces all enemies. Would you look at that? I think we're probably just going to get this and then vendor this and go back. So I think I started talking about music and then stopped talking about music in the last episode, so I guess we can go back to music. Shockingly enough, you might be surprised as to what you hear. I like a lot of indie rock. Wow, look at me, I'm playing indie games. I like a lot of indie stuff? Wow, shocking. I know, but believe it. I just, you know, I'm not gonna be pretentious about it or anything, be like, well, it's better than everything else. Like, I wouldn't say there's a genre of music outside of some of like the kind of niche sub-genres of music, like sludge metal, which is a very niche sludge, or a niche sludge genre, a niche sub-genre. There isn't much outside of like that type of music, you know, where it's like you're like 4 sub-genres deep. Where I'm really like, I don't think I like this. Like, let me go through like the big genres of music. What do we start with? We start with the one that people dislike the most, country. There's Johnny Cash. I don't know if you would consider Bob Dylan. He's more folk than country, I think. But, you know, rap, you got my dog. There you go. Apologies for the dog, by the way. I know I say that in, like, 1000% of my videos, but I'm sorry about him. You know, he's doing his job. Can't fault the boy for doing his job, right? Rap. I mean, you got Kendrick, you got Tyler the Creator. I think rap is one of my more preferred genres, so I actually know a lot more about it than other genres. I mean, you got Kanye, you got Kendrick, you got Tyler the Creator, you got Odd Future as a whole, I guess. You got a lot of good stuff in there. And then if you want to go into more of a hip-hop, like instrumental hip-hop, you got like, honestly, Joji. I know that's kind of a weird answer, considering what he has done previously with all the Filthy Frank stuff, but Joji's a really good musician. I'm not really gonna apologize for thinking that, I guess, because he is. He's very talented. I think that his image is a little tainted by the Filthy Frank stuff. Hold on, I'm getting a... Is that a phone call or a text message? Oh, it's a notification from Twitch. Neat. I think that he might be... I think a little... People associate him a little bit too much with the Filthy Frank stuff. And I know that he's kind of trying to get away from that. But, I mean, if you've listened to his EP is amazing. Obviously I like rock and roll. I mean, I'm a white person, right? Am I right, boys? Yeah, that's a joke. I'm not racist. I swear. Who told you I was racist? They're racist. They're projecting their racism onto me. I like rock. Specifically, like, as I said, indie rock. I like a lot of southern rock as well. You know, more like a jazz rock type feel, or even more of like a Kings of Leon type, you know, southern deal. Alt rock obviously is probably the most, like, I don't even know why that term exists anymore, because it feels like everything is that nowadays. You know, it used to mean stuff like Linkin Park, where they had like a rapper over it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's different than, you know, your classic like Led Zeppelin, or even going back further like Chuck Berry rock and roll. You know, it's got a little bit of alternative stuff to it, hence the name alt rock. But nowadays it feels like it's just like literally everything, like nothing's called rock anymore, it's just called alt rock, which I think is weird, and I don't really understand it. Going back, I do like old like blues inspired rock, like Chuck Berry. I do like the blues as well. There's not, I mean, there's not a genre of music that I can't look to and be like, oh yeah, this artist of this genre, they're amazing. I love their music. I have listened to multiple of their albums. I mean, obviously, you know, like, Jimi Hendrix only has, what, like, 2 or 3 albums from when he was actually alive? Because he, you know, had a very, rest in peace, Jimmy, a very short, lifespan. But I think mainly I'm more of a, like, an indie rock slash jazz slash blues kind of guy. And when I say indie rock, I mean like older Modest Mouse, you know, like The Moon in Antarctica, The Lonesome West, Kanye West. That's a joke. Kanye West is not an album by Modest Mouse. But you know, I mean, I think I could hold my own if we were to have like a discussion about curse word discussion about music and whatnot. I would call myself like a fan of music. I think that would be a fair thing to say, given how much music I listen to and how much music has like influenced my life. The blues resonates with me, which I know a lot of people probably say, but it really does, you know. I haven't had necessarily a tough life like some blues singers. You know, I wasn't like working at a sawmill and had to watch my brother die or anything like that. That happened to Johnny Cash. Is he blues? I don't know if he's blues or country or what have you, but whatever he is. Yeah, I didn't necessarily have those hardships, but everyone has their own hardships, right? I don't think any life is without hardship. Whether it be more quote-unquote real than others, I think is up for dispute. Just like that damage that I just took. I don't know, I don't think it's like a pissing contest to see whose life was the hardest. Which I feel like it can, sometimes things can devolve into that. I think that's just silly. We're gonna go prison depths again. I don't actually know if there's anything here that we need to kill anymore, but it's extra scrolls basically. Which is, I like extra scrolls. We're gonna take, I guess we have the ice bow, so we can always just CC them while we're giving them the suck. So we'll take cooldown reduction. I don't think our damage is really a sore point right now, so I don't think we need to worry about taking extra damage while near a deployed skill. I think we just want to be able to deploy the turret more frequently. Obviously I have all my mental health stuff that I've probably talked about before. The disease formerly known as ADD, now currently known as ADHD-PI. Which I hate, by the way. Probably have discussed that as well. My hate of the fact that they changed the name of it. That's probably on like a much more previous episode. You know, like not recently. Well, there's the exit. Wow, look at that. Whoops. We got panic disorder, which if you don't know, basically I just have panic attacks a lot. It's a lot of fun. You should try it. That's a joke. Don't do it. I mean, you can't do it, so I don't know what the joke actually is there. Maybe it's an anti-joke, who knows. What am I, a comedian? I guess, probably. But I feel like, you know, I feel like the best advice I can give for someone who might be struggling or in a situation that they don't want to be in or whatever, getting bullied, I don't know, what have you, is just learn to laugh at yourself. Because I was not in a great place early on in my life. And I think that the moment that I learned to just laugh everything off, not like everything, but laugh off, you know, people being like, oh, you're stupid or fat or whatever people say, is just to learn to laugh with them, if that makes any sense. Like, don't encourage them. But I think that it can help to self-deprecate. I think it takes away a lot of their, like, power over you, which I guess is what bullies want, right? Power. Or attention, or something along those lines. I feel like if you laugh along with them, they're kind of like, oh, okay, this isn't really gonna work, is it? But I think that's when my life improved a lot, was when I kind of learned to laugh things off. Not necessarily everything, because some things are serious, right? I'm not saying go laugh about, you know, tragedies or whatever. Unless that's how you cope, in which case, feel free, I guess. But I think at a certain point, you just need to learn to kind of shrug things off. And not take everything too seriously. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but all I know is that I'm in this prison depths for like the 7th time in a row, and I've been here a million times, and I need to talk about something, right? I think that would be my advice, would just be to just kind of, I don't want to say go with it, because that doesn't sound right. Just to kind of learn how to shrug things off. And just not worry so much about what others think, I think was another big point for me. I learned to stop caring about what other people, not stop caring, but care less about what people thought of me and more care about what I think of myself. I think that's another beneficial thing to do. If maybe you feel, you know, like you're not in a great place or you don't feel good about yourself, just learn to love yourself. Which I know is cliche, but it really does help. I have been depressed in my life. I've been in bad places in my life. You know, I've had mental problems, I've been depressed, I've been suicidal. You name it, I've probably been it. Except for pregnant, because that's just not possible. But, you know, you just learn to kind of take things in stride. Care more about what you think than what others think. Learn to get that dog to stop barking, possibly. That may help. I apologize for it. Once again, let me mute my mic, sorry. Sorry, it's probably like as cliche as it sounds, it's probably like the postman or something. Postwoman? Delivery mail person? Person who delivers the postage? I don't know what the right term is these days. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, just learn to, you know, take things in stride and shrug off. You know, people are gonna say stupid things, especially on the internet, especially these days. People are gonna say stupid things, just learn to shrug it off. Don't take everything too seriously. Don't care about what, you know, some idiot behind a keyboard who doesn't even know you says. You know, as I say, don't worry, be happy. I'm happy I got a frantic sword there. It's quite nice, actually. Actually, really, really good. Wow. Neat. Thanks. Thank you, shopkeep. And that's the whole prison thingamajig. Prison depths. And on we go to the ossuary. So here, I think we're probably going to get the flamethrower turret from the shockers, as they are called. I call them stop shocking me guys, I guess. I don't really have a name for them. I believe they just spawn like a random zombie. Since they can't be elites, I think what happens is that they just become a zombie? Like one of the basic green guys. It just spawns in their stead. I think this might have happened an episode or two ago, where I did it on something that can't be an elite either, and it just becomes a random zombie elite, and then that drops the pattern whenever you kill it. So let's see if we can find a good one that has like a decent location. It's a fight. Alright, so there's one right there. So let's see what happens. Yeah, you see it just becomes a zombie. There we go. Flamethrower turret blueprint. Alright, cool. So that's good. What does this frantic sword have? Extra damage when critting. So now we don't have to worry about those guys. I'll make sure I actually get through here before I close out of the little tab that I have in my my Firefox, telling me what patterns I still need. I don't want to, you know, close out of it and then die like I have before with this pattern and have to get it again. Man, wouldn't that suck, having to get the same pattern twice? I wouldn't know, because I've never done it. I've done it so many times you don't even want to know. Food vendor. Okay, well, glad to know that you're here, but I don't think I'll be requiring your services, sir. You've picked quite an odd place to start a delicatessen, if I do say so myself. And I'm not a delicatessen expert, but I would say perhaps you could have chose a better location. I don't know why so many of my rants evolve into discussions about mental health, but I guess because that's a large portion of my life, I guess I can help someone else, you know, not go through what I went through. Perhaps that would be good. You know, there was a time before I was diagnosed, I guess would probably be the right terminology. Before I was diagnosed with panic disorder, where I couldn't really go in public. I would have like crippling panic attacks, like I couldn't function properly. Pierce all targets. Wow, that's something I definitely want. You know, life was difficult, to say the least. I'm a lot better now with medicine and treatment. The treatment being medicine, I guess, so I don't know why I said that, but coping skills can work to an extent for some things. But I think for me it was to the point where I needed medicine, and coping wasn't going to help anymore. I had been trying and it just wasn't really effective. I think that's another important thing, like, if you have some sort of mental health disorder, like, I don't know, autism or panic disorder, ADD, ADHD, PI, ADD, or I already said that, I'm an idiot. ADHD, like the normal kind. It's important to not, I guess not let it define you. Obviously some of them, I guess, like, are more defining than others. Like autism is like, you can't really, there's no cure per se, but I think that's another important thing. Like there doesn't need to be a cure, quote unquote, right? Like it's not, I think that's an issue that I have with a lot of stuff about it, is that yes, there's no cure, but there doesn't need to be, because you don't have like a disease. It's not cancer, you know? Like it's just the way that you are. There doesn't need to be a cure for being you. Would be what I would say you should take away from that. What am I? Okay, I don't want that double notch bow. Where am I going? This map is just so freaking, so vast. What, did I really just go up an elevator to go down an elevator? What are you doing? Just dice that play up. Yeah, Valmont's whip. Woo! That's a good one right there, boys. That's my favorite. Valmont's whip. My favorite piece of garbage. Ooh, that was close. Sorry, I'm trying to form my thoughts. It's hard to express what you're thinking. I don't know if you've ever tried doing it. It can be quite difficult sometimes. That's another thing that I learned when learning to deal with ADD, which I was diagnosed with at a younger age than the panic disorder. So I have a lot more experience with dealing with that, which was very important. I was getting in a lot of trouble in school and stuff, you know, as is normal for people with ADHD or ADHD PI. It can cause a lot of issues in a structured environment like school. when undiagnosed. So I was getting in a lot of trouble, and one of the things that I learned how to cope with it was to just think before I say things, which has helped me out a lot in just life in general. That's probably just good life advice. You know, just say the first thing that comes to your head, and, you know, give it a moment to process and be like, well, you know, do I really want to say this? Is this really going to be constructive and helpful, or is this just some stupid nonsense that I probably shouldn't be saying? I guess I'll see if there's a, yeah, I was gonna see if there's a better ice bow, but a better ice bow is gonna be a little hard to come by. Where was that other shop? I believe it was this one that has the other turret that we want. We don't really want this infantry grenade. We would love this one that pierces all targets, and we want to swap them, get rid of this, render it. Alright, cool. I think that's just good life advice, to think before you speak. You know, think, will this... is this a really stupid thing to say? You know, is this constructive in the slightest sense of the word at all? Or is this just like a stupid thing to say? And I think if people did that, perhaps we wouldn't have the problems that we have with online toxicity. You know, like, maybe you don't need to call someone a racial slur because they killed you in Call of Duty or Rainbow Six or whatever. Maybe you don't need to insult someone's mother or intelligence for no real reason because you feel like it on the internet because you're anonymous and you can. I'm not saying that I agree with people who are like, well, you know, you can never use certain words because they're a word. I'm fairly opposed, honestly. It may not seem like it based on what I've just said, but I'm fairly opposed to people, like, policing words. You know? It being like, oh, you can never say the F word, the one of the slur against people who are homosexual. Because I think to a certain extent, like, I'm not going to go with the whole 4chan approach of, you know, spam it until it becomes meaningless. Which is the reason 4chan originally said things like that. Back in the day. Was to kind of desensitize the word to an extent. Because words only hold the power that you give them, right? Words can only be as powerful as you make them. I just want to get... Okay, thank you. I just want to beat this boss and unlock this pattern so I can close out of this tab and only have 2 more tabs open. Of patterns that I need to unlock. Hey, we did it. Alright, cool. Let me just ceremoniously close out of this flamethrower turret. Alright, so we have Death Orb and a Shovel. Which I think basically require me to go in 2 separate directions, so... Woo! I'm so excited for that. Alright, we've unlocked Flamethrower Turret. I'm sure it's probably just a turret that shoots out fire. Shocking, I know. Oh my goodness, he's never used the item. How does he know what it does? Because the name's pretty freaking basic. Now, Death Orb... Is it just... I mean, I think I've seen it in a daily, so I'm pretty sure it's just like a big ball that moves slowly and does damage to things that touch it. I believe. I'm fairly certain that's what it is, but... Let me look at the wiki while I do this fight. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I hate that aura. That aura actually makes it really hard to do this fight without getting hit, which is one of the achievements. I already have the achievement, so I don't actually care that much, but it does make it a little bit more difficult. You might be wondering, why did I take so much damage from that aura? My necklace has poisons enemies that hit me, so I can kind of get away with it because I'm still dealing damage productively while getting hit like an idiot. Alright, so we're trying to get everything upgraded at a basic level so that we can start focusing a little bit more on being able to use things instead of just passing them up. Obviously, the things that we already have upgraded S tier, we're not really going to be able to be like, oh, I don't want this one, so let's just go somewhere else. Like, gonna still kind of have to... I don't actually need to go to Slumbering Sanctuary as much as I like it better than Fog Fjord. We're going to Fog Fjord. I think basically to sum up what I'm trying to say before I move on to a different topic of conversation is that if you have issues, you know, the best way is to get help, and that might not be professional help, you know, it might just be talking to someone that you love. Just, you know, talk about it with people. Talk about it anonymously on the internet. You know, there are support forums for like everything these days. Probably like support forums for someone who's like had a bad hamburger from McDonald's. I don't know, dude. It's the internet, it has everything. You know, you don't have to talk to someone that you pay necessarily or get medicine. You know, maybe you don't really need that. Maybe you just need a place to vent. There are subreddits, there are entire forums dedicated to that kind of thing. They are helpful. If you're suicidal, there are hotlines to call in every single country that I've ever heard of, and some I haven't. That's a more serious topic, though. Not really something I would want to put in a Dead Cells run, but having been there, there's no need to go that far. You know, if you are in that place and you want to message me, feel free. I'll respond as quickly as I can. Try and help out. There's never any need to take it that far. I mean, things can suck, you know, life can suck, but that's just unnecessary. As I said, if you're feeling that way, please call hotline. PM me if you feel like that would help. Just don't go there. Anyways, back to less serious subjects. I think we're just gonna go tactics and see if we can get away with just stacking tactics this run. That's seamless transition, dude. Oof, how does he do it? Alright, so these guys right here, draw me a pattern, please. Please. Pattern seller, I need your finest patterns. Oh, you can't handle my finest patterns. Traveler, etc., etc. Everyone's seen the video. You know, that was one of those videos that, like, I assume you probably have this, so I don't even know why I would ask. Oh, has this ever happened to you? I'm sure that it has. Where someone, like, links you a video or whatever, and they're like, oh, you need to see this. And you're like, do I, though? I don't really think I do. But then you watch and you're like, oh my god, why did I ever doubt you? That was one of those videos for me, I think. I was like, well, what's it about? And they were like, well, it's just a guy talking to himself with a weird face cam filter thing. I was like, that sounds really stupid. Why am I friends with you? Why would you suggest this to me? Then I actually watched it and I was like, oh my goodness. This will start a cultural revolution. I mean, it won't actually start a cultural revolution, but it's hilarious. That was bad damage. Taking a fair amount of that today. That's okay, because I'm trying to talk. I'm focusing more on that than playing. Alright, samurai boys, drop me your patterns. I'm gonna take damage from that. Yep. I knew it. I saw it coming. I forgot those things actually do roll downhill, you know? Wow, the other key room is like right here. I could go for the secret if I didn't already have it. I don't even remember if these things drop gold or anything at all. These red leech boys. I don't believe that they do, so there's probably not even any point to me killing them. If they don't drop gold or, you know, some kind of like cells or anything, man. Ooh, duck that attack. Don't let that one hit you. That one is like the Beyblade boys. They just keep slapping you until you can't take any more slaps. Alright, come on, dude. You can make that jump. It's easy peasy. As I said, just tactics, dude. I don't even care. Glass cannon me up, boy. Let's go. I don't know, what are the other, like, check boxes of a typical video of me playing Dead Cells that I can check here? Talked about how I dislike the Foundry update. Yeah, check on that one. I think I've talked about how the heavy turret is my favorite item and how the setup is amazing, and I wish I could always use this and never use anything else. I think I've checked that box. Talked about random mental health stuff. That's another check right there. Let's see. Talked about random art, media, music, TV, movies, etc. Talked about how much I hate these enemies that teleport at you, and kamikazes. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe how well designed Slumbering Sanctuary is compared to this area? Oh right, I haven't plugged my Twitch stream. Yeah, I stream it on twitch.tv. Did you hear about this website? Anyways, that's a joke. I don't stream this game, so if you're here for this game, don't follow me on Twitch. You'll be sorely disappointed. Stream a lot of random competitive multiplayer games. The occasional, like, Slay the Spire or something. So if you're into that kind of thing, feel free to watch. But if you're here for Dead Cells, you will be severely disappointed at the lack of Dead Cells on my stream. I do occasionally stream Dead Cells. I think it'd be, you know, pretty fastidious. Is that the right word? Of me to say that I don't. I think that we actually do want to go Forgotten, as much as I hate this area. Oh yeah, there's another checkbox. How much I hate this area. Although I guess I already ticked that with how much I hate Fallout Fjord, right? Do I need to, like, double down on that one? I don't know, I'm not popular enough to have, like, enough of a following for someone to make, like, a bingo sheet, but if they did, I probably would, everyone would have a full card by now. Yeah, probably. Well, maybe one day I'll get that big, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm already that big, if you know what I mean. Woohoo, boys! I made a joke about genitalia! Hey, Lamau! Play funny memes. I'm running out of light, boys. I'm running out of light. In real life and in the game. Everything's going dim. It's all going dark. Wait, aren't you typically the dude who keeps the lights on? Where is the freaking light? Ooh, thank you. Jeepers. Reapers. Is that a movie? TV show, maybe? I feel like that's something. That had to have come from, so, like, who do you think originated that phrase? Is that from, like, the 20s or something? Before that, maybe? I always wonder, you know, when you have like idioms and whatnot, who was the first to use them, do you think? It's always... Wow, that was really bad damage. I've always been interested by things like that. I guess I might be able to look it up, but I think for most of it, it's probably like, you know, commonly used in the coal mines, unsure who the original person to say it was. It's like they just don't have records. Unlike when some of these things are probably made in like the freaking Middle Ages. You know, they don't have like records from back then. Well, they do, but not records of who was saying what. Records of like wars and gods, kings, all that type of stuff. I doubt they have, you know, Jonathan III of the Netherlands was the first to call it a sandwich. First to call it a hamburger. I mean, that was obviously, you know, the Earl of Hamburg. Probably not, but, you know. Oh, there we go. There's another bingo sheet. Apologies for the dog. There you go. You should have a full card by now. If you do, feel free to bring it up front for a prize. What is the prize, you might ask? I don't know, you get to watch more videos. Woohoo! That's what everyone wanted. My traps and turrets are actually pretty good. So I think I might spend this on cells. As kind of boring as that sounds. I might unlock some of those cell doors to get some more progress on the Foundry. I'm really, really hoping, holding out hope, that we can get the pattern from these guys, but I'm a realist, you know? There's a light right there. Woo! We did it. Found the light source. Wow, he actually got that hit off, huh? Congratulations to that guy. Probably shouldn't have wasted that light. I had one right there. Yeah, that was a waste. That was probably also a waste. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Oh boy. Oh boy. Things are getting dim, boys. Woo! Boys and girls? I don't know, I haven't like looked at my YouTube demographic thing. Because no one watches these, so it would just depress me. That's really bad damage. Like, just utterly horrible damage. Well, this kind of stinks. I can't go for, tactics. I'm trying to go glass cannon here, and you're kind of ruining it, man. I don't know, maybe instead of playing a CRPG, I don't know if I talked about this in this episode or the last episode. I'm recording them at like roughly the same time because I just kind of want to be done with these blueprints. By roughly the same time, I mean like I literally finished the other one and then hit record again and started recording this one. No, I was talking about the backlog. I just kind of want to get it over with so I can start doing actual runs again. What was I even saying? I've lost my mind. It's like I was probably complaining about something if I had to take a wager. I honestly, like, I'm honestly tempted to pause the video, go back and watch, and figure out what I was talking about. Probably something completely... No, okay, never mind. I've remembered now. I didn't pause the video. There's no breaks. Don't look for breaks. There's no editing in this video, okay? Pulling a Northern Lion. I don't edit videos. It's not sure I edit videos quite frequently. Shots fired? I don't know. Anyways, I've been thinking about playing an RPG. I think I might just do XCOM again. I know that like no one watched me play XCOM the first time. That's kind of a theme of my channel. Is that no one watches me play anything. I honestly wouldn't be shocked to see if, like, you know, all of my viewers are just, like, bots that my wife has set up. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Should probably get that gold. Actually, I have so much gold. Holy crap. I would like to find a useful shop. Oh, we do have the key for this. Okay, so we can go forward. We can always backtrack if we need to. It's a little hard to backtrack in this area because of, you know, the whole light mechanic, but... Actually, is there a shop? So I think that shop was traps and turrets, right? So we don't actually care about that. There's a treasure room that we missed, though. So we should probably do that. Okay. It's probably just a curse chest. I played through XCOM 2 for The Chosen again, because I love that game a lot. I'll probably cut out a lot of the unnecessary base building stuff and just keep in the combat. Downloaded a few mods for it. I haven't actually gotten around to playing it. It is just a curse chest. Wow, thanks, buddy. Downloaded a few mods to, like, just make things faster in combat, show, like, stats and stuff in combat. Just your basic. Make things easier to understand type deal. I just play that again, dude. Why are these not linked? Normally there's like a line between them. Where are my lines? Devs, please fix this game is unplayable without the lines between the smiley face statues. I'd be shocked if the devs ever watched me play this game. Like, I didn't even have to attack that one guy. The turrets actually just did it all for me. Which is basically the story of my play of this game. Oh, an interact video where he uses 2 heavy turrets and a frantic sword and an ice bow? Wow. What an original guy. And then he complains about random nonsense? You don't say. Shocking. Truly, truly shocking. I would have never guessed. Anyways, at least we knocked out a blueprint a little bit faster than the last video. I might just throw some 3-cell runs in here, like, to break up the monotony. Because my goodness, it's been a lot of blueprint farming. Although I guess I do just, like, talk about stuff, so it's not probably the worst thing in the world. Let's finish this. I think it's already finished, if we're being honest here. Yeah, it seems pretty finished to me. I took like 1 shuriken that entire fight. What a tough boss. Oh, there's your other bingo card, me talking about how the assassin needs to be buffed. Should be pretty much filled out now. If you aren't, I don't know what I've missed, but feel free to tell me, I guess. Anyways, I'm gonna do the outro. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. You enjoy this? Feel free to let. Nope. Give me those cells back. I've made a mistake. I don't want to ever invest in these. I actually just want them to get removed from my game. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment with anything that I discussed in this episode, anything that you want me to do in the future. Whatever. And subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, as I've said a billion times. It really does help out with my self-esteem issues. That's not true. It helps out. Makes me feel good about doing this. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Goodbye, slimy friend. Goodbye.